we've got to clear some more brush this winter. If you look behind me, you can see there's some brush that needs to be mowed down, and that's what we're going to be doing this fall and this winter, is knocking down brush so more grass grows up. And our goal is to clear all this brush this winter to open up another 5 acres of grazing in the spring. Well, now's the time that we've got frozen ground, but the snow's down a little bit, to try to cut some brush, to try to knock down some of this brush in the cow pasture so that it becomes pasture in the spring. One of the problems we're having is, even though there's a foot of snow and the ground is frozen, there's water coming up. You can see already in our tracks. And the skid steer slips and slides on this and gets its belly hung up on the deep snow. So we're having to avoid some of the lower areas already, even though it's March and it's supposedly still frozen. Day 2 of spring brush cutting. We got a good freeze overnight, so the ground is a little more firm, so hopefully it won't be tearing up the fields and the pastures as we head out to where we're going to work. I'm in the tractor providing support with I've got a chain down there in case we get the skid steer hung up in the woods. And then I've got my chainsaw for cutting big stuff that's too heavy for the mower to cut through. Today we'll be clearing pasture sections, hopefully a couple more acres. So you can see that the skid steer doesn't get it all the way down to the ground. This mower, it leaves, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 inch stubble down here, but it does kill the plants, and there'll be plenty of sun that'll get in here, hopefully, and this will turn into something that the cows can graze once the snow melts. You can see the height that it was, and the thickness blocking out any kind of sunshine down to the ground, so that it was basically worthless for cow pasture. And it didn't really, as wet as it was in here, it didn't really hold wildlife much at all. And there'll be plenty of good wildlife habitat back behind us here that will stay intact. But this high area should turn into pretty good pasture. We'll look at it in the spring and or 2 months from now when the grass starts growing and see if it actually is pretty good. Well, here's what I've been concerned about. This was all just snow yesterday, and you can see now the water is pooling along the creek in an area that was basically dry yesterday, and now it's the beginnings of spring flood. It's overrun the culvert and our trail to the back fence line, and it's running pretty good. This is old 50-year-old pasture that we fenced in last summer that had grown up in 10, 12 foot tall alder brush and some willow. So we're hoping by clearing it now, smashing this big brush down, we'll open up large areas that can be used this summer for pasture, so we can graze more animals for a longer period of time and end up needing less hay next year. So we'll see if it works.